Alright, so I got the Toro Titan My Ride 2000 series. Pretty good machine. When I bought it used, it had about 250 hours on it. There was no grass flap or anything, so I always kind of wanted to put something on there just to kind of prevent the grass and stuff from getting in the mulch bed. So I made this motorized grass flap, all Amazon parts basically. It was less than 100 bucks, and I'll kind of explain how I did it. So on the battery, starting from the back, everything is 18 gauge wire, positive, negative, a 5 amp inline fuse. I twisted all the wires just to kind of keep them together. They are all in this expandable nylon loom just to kind of protect everything. All the heat shrink is adhesive lined through the whole thing to kind of seal it from getting water in anything. To route all the cable, I just use these adhesive backed cable tie holders. They work pretty well. They don't really go anywhere once they're on there. They're 3M backed, so they're pretty good. Ran the wire up through here, through the operator control panel kind of deal over here. Comes along the seat. It comes down here. Left some slack so that when you're operating this stuff, it doesn't pull on anything. It goes up through the bottom of the handlebar. And again, that's positive and negative coming from the battery. It comes out of the handlebar here and underneath. And then just put some 1.5 inch adhesive lined heat shrink just so that it doesn't slide around or ever come off. Positive and negative come into the back of the switch. It is a double pole, double throw DPDT polarity switching switch, so that when you click it one way, it turns the motor one way, you click it the other way, it obviously opens it. 3D printed this clamp on switch holder. So the positive and negative come in to one side and it jumps to the other two pins, positive, negative, and they crisscross. And then you got the positive and negative coming out of the middle, which goes down to the motor. So from the middle, it goes back down, back through, back down the bar, and then out here down to the motor that drives it. I put a cable tie on the bar that raises and lowers the deck just so that everything is kind of together and this isn't really flopping around at all. Use these butt splice quick disconnects. These aren't waterproof, but the reason I did this is because the motor is not waterproof and I wanted to be able to take this off when I power wash and clean the machine, just to kind of keep everything from rotting or anything like that. This motor from Amazon, it's a robotics motor. It's a worm gear. It's a 12 volt DC 28 RPM motor. The worm gear has high torque, so it's pretty good. And that came with a bracket. And I have some rare earth magnets. I think they're 1.25 inch diameter rare earth magnets just to keep it onto the deck. So again, when I want to take this off, I don't need to unbolt anything. The motor came with an 8mm D-shape shaft. I just used a little 2-inch die grinder with a pneumatic die grinder to put a hex on it. It had one flat, so I just did a 1/4 inch square because it's driven by this flexible 1/4 inch extension that, again, everything here is off Amazon and super cheap. So 1/4 inch extension. It gives it a little spring so that if you want to, if you hit anything, it has some free float in it and won't snap anything. 1/4 inch quick disconnect from the square to the shaft. The shaft is an 8mm 304 stainless steel rod. My buddy owns a machine shop and he machined a 1/4 inch hex on here to accept that, so you could take this on and off relatively easily. 8mm stainless shaft. I got these little T-clamps. They just clamp onto the back of the shaft in line. There's 4 of them, and then the 2 bolt holes through here. 1032 hardware, all stainless steel, so nothing rusts. I got these little roller bearings here, one there and one there. It does have a bolt and nut through the original bracket that was welded to the deck. And then I cut the other ear off so that I can make everything perfectly in line and kind of clock it how I wanted to. And then I held it in place, and I just put some JB weld on here just to kind of keep anything from rotating or moving so that this is perfectly in line and smooth operating. Other than that, that's really it. It's super simple. Little ingenuity going into it, little thinking here and there, but it's not too bad. These little cutouts, just used a file here and here. Again, that's just to clear these so that this flap can open past 180 degrees to kind of stay out of the way. So I'll show you how that works here. Again, it's double pull, double throw. So when you click this down, or to the right, I should say, it's going to close the flap. When you click it up, it opens it and it stops. And again, that gives it this little extension here, gives it some flex. If you over rotate it, it's not going to break anything. So that's open, that's closed. It's a 28 RPM, so it is a little slow, but you don't need anything to go too fast here. It mates up pretty good. There's not much of a gap. I mean, maybe 1/8 of an inch, if that. But the blowout isn't bad at all. I mean, you could go right up against the flower beds and not get anything in your mulch, so it's pretty good. Again, everything here is probably under 100 bucks. This sheet metal plate, it's 90 thousandths, so 0.090 inch thick. So it's pretty rigid, but again, it's aluminum. It's 50-52 aluminum, and it's pretty light. I got that from Online Metals. This is an 18 by 8 inch tall, and it was like 15 bucks. It was pretty cheap. So these clamps, 4-pack, was like 10 bucks. The roller bearings came in a 4-pack. That was like another 10 bucks. This extension was probably 5. This adapter was probably 4 or 5. The motor came with the bracket. That motor was, I think, 25 bucks. The 2 magnets underneath it came in a 4-pack. I think that was like 12 or 15 bucks. All of the wiring, the connectors, and all that stuff, I actually am lucky I got that from work. All the loom and all that stuff, the shrink tube, all that stuff. So that's going to be a little bit more of an added cost, but not too much. You can get that stuff cheap on Amazon. Modeled this up in CAD, 3D printed it. This clips in, just snaps in. The DPDT was off Amazon. That was probably, I think, 6 bucks. The little holders to hold on to the zip ties, I think it was a pack of like 100 with zip ties. It was like 4 bucks. It was pretty cheap. Inline switch came in a pack of 2. I think it was like 3 or 4 bucks for that, and it came with a couple different size relays: a 2.5, a 3, a 5, a 7.5, and a 10. I'm going with the 5 amp just to protect the switch. Really, that's really the only thing you got to protect. The motor is only going to draw a certain amount of amps that it needs. It only operates, I think, under heavy load, which this isn't heavy load for that at all, at like 1.5 amps. I think free spin, no load is like, I want to say less than 0.5 amp. So that's never going to draw too much power. You can operate this thing all day, even with the mower off, and it's not going to kill your battery. So works pretty good. First mow with it, and it did pretty good. Again, there's not really any blowout. Keeps stuff out of the flower beds, and it's all less than 100 bucks. Anything online that you want to buy that's motorized is, I think, 450 bucks. I thought that was a little crazy. Again, this has a little ingenuity. You got to drill some holes and to mount the roller bearings and whatnot, but nothing that you can't do with some hand tools. I'm not a genius, so if you got any questions, drop me in the comments, and I'll feel free to answer anything that I can. I'll put everything, links to Amazon. Everything here was off of Amazon, again, minus the wire, the shrink tube, and the butt splicers and all that stuff. But you can source all that stuff on Amazon. I just got that stuff from work. Hardware, you could probably get that on Amazon as well. I got the hardware from work. But the plate was from Online Metals. Everything else was Amazon. So I'm going to call this the Motorized Amazon grass flap for under 100 bucks.